Hi, welcome in here to the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com on this Monday, as the NBA already off and running with a couple of games. In fact, one already in the books, couple happening right now. We'll have still, I believe, 6 games. If you're joining us live here on this Monday, 6 games remain on the card. We'll talk about a couple of them. See if we can come up with a couple of best bets with the remaining schedule. And we'll do it with 3 of the best here today, as Skee Profit back in the house, as is RC, Mr. Ronald Kabang, and of course, the prop god Andy Lang hanging with us here today. As we've watched Embiid be welcomed back to the Sixers already with a big win here. The Hawks appear to be extremely pissed off at the Spurs for some reason. And we still have some interesting games coming up. So, Skee, let us start with you here, my man. Of the 6 remaining games yet to tip off, give us one that intrigues you here.
Well, I was looking at the Bulls and Cavaliers game, and if I just look at, well, both of these teams have been playing well. You have a Bulls team that has won 4 of their last 5 games. Same for the Cavaliers. And there is a big rest advantage here, 1 day for the Bulls compared to 3 for the Cavaliers. Usually, I would go all for the rest advantage, but they did just have to travel back from Paris. And it's not like they're going up against a team who is not playing well right now. So if the Bulls are winning games outright and they're just in their normal, how do I say, like, I'm traveling right now and I'm all out of whack. So I know if they're traveling from Paris, they're not going to be on their normal speed. And the Bulls have just been, playing normal games. So I think the Bulls can keep it close. It was 6.5, I believe, at first, and it's already down to 4. So I think the Bulls are live in this game. I think they can win it outright. As far as the total, I wanted to try to look towards the Bulls over, just because they've been sharing the ball really good lately. They've had like 3 straight games where I've seen them have 30 plus assists, and that's just a sign of a team playing really good basketball. The holdup is the Cavs returning home, and neither team really playing with pace. I look at how both teams have been playing the last 5 games. You have a Cavs team who's number 2 defensive rated team, and also Bulls have played better defense and offense as well. These teams have gone under 5 of the last 7 meetings, and so I just couldn't get there with the over. So I guess my leans on this game right now will be Bulls plus the points and under the total.
All right, there you go. Looking at an under as well in that one. How about you, RC? Which one of these games intrigues you here tonight?
Yeah, I was looking at that Pacers and Jazz game from a total perspective than from a side perspective. I think the Pacers, I know they're obviously without Halliburton, but they've actually been playing really well. They've won 9 of their last 11 games, and in that span, they're 9-1-1 against the spread. But from the total perspective, they've been doing it from the defensive side of the ball. They've kept 12 of their last 14 opponents under their team total. They really flipped the switch on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion. I think they've also slowed the pace down a little bit. From a trend perspective, the Pacers 4-0 to the under in road non-conference games. They've also gone under in 4 straight games without Hallie as well. And that includes 1 game back in December. In the last 3 games specifically, where Hallie has been out, they're actually 6th in defensive rating and have slowed their pace down a little bit. I think on the regular season, full regular season, they're like top 5 in pace, but now they're in the middle of the pack in the last 3. So I think they've slowed it down a little bit, played a lot better defense. If you look at the Jazz side, they're 4-1 to the under against teams on the second leg of back-to-back games. And in those games, they're averaging a combined score of 223.4 points per game. So they're also getting it done on the defensive side of the ball. I think the books are underestimating the defense of both of these teams, because I know the Jazz have been playing really well, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But if you look at the last 13 games on the Jazz side, their opponents are also 10-2-1 to their team total under as well. So for me, I feel like there's 2 underrated defenses here. I actually took the under 249 last night, but I still like it here at this number. The only reason why it wasn't my best bet is just because the total has shifted so much.
All right. Well, there you go here, guys. Should be an interesting one there as the Jazz continue to roll. But Utah playing some defense, too, which is interesting without Halliburton. And that brings us to Andy Lang, the prop god here, taking a look at the remaining games on the schedule here tonight. Andy, which one stuck out to you here?
I like the Raptors and the Celtics, and I'm going to fade the Celtics team on the road. So you got a Raptors team. They had a 6-game road trip that ended on Friday. They played the Lakers and the Clippers pretty tough, but they just got wiped out by Utah on Friday. That was the last game of the road trip. None of their starters played more than 30 minutes or so. And I look at the Celtics, 19-0 at home. That's impressive. 11-9 on the road. Not that impressive. They're actually 7-11-2 ATS on the road. That is third worst in the NBA against the spread. So while this team is amazing at home, they're not covering these spreads on the road. You got no Jaylen Brown tonight, and he's been great. He's been averaging 25, 6, and 3 in January, so that's a big loss for them. And also just looking at this, the Celtics, they had a stretch where from Thanksgiving to the end of 2023, they were 14-3. Not sustainable. And sure enough, in 2024, they're just 4-3. So I think this is a sneaky spot for the Raptors that have rested since Friday. It was just a really tough road stretch for them. And the Celtics team just does not perform well on the road. So give me the 8 points. It's way too many for a Boston team on the road. I'll happily take the Raptors +8, maybe a little sprinkle on the money line, as it seems like a pretty big letdown spot for Boston.
Yeah, they're alternating wins and losses, it looks like, over the last 5. But it's one of those one-off away games, too, and players just hate that. If we're going away, let's go away. Let's not pack a bag only to have to come back home, especially crossing the border there. So, all right, so you got 3 of the 6 games you got a pretty good peek into. We're going to talk about 3 best bets coming up here. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button for us, the thumbs up. We certainly appreciate it. And, of course, if you're new here to WagerTalk TV, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family, as nobody's got more daily and weekly content with all the big games in all the sports, all great previews, along with more best bets. You guys got to check it out. Hit that subscribe button as we talk some best bets here. And talk a little NBA, because Skee, we'll turn it back to you. You looked at that. You looked at that Bulls and Cavs game here for a big game breakdown. Is there one you like a little more than the rest that remain on the card here tonight?
Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't even have to talk about it anymore. I've been on here talking about this for only 6 games in a row. So Boston and Toronto, we're going to start from the Toronto side. And I'll mention something I don't like first. And I don't like that Toronto is coming home first game after a very, very long road trip. But Toronto, with OG, they're playing at a pace around 98. And without him, and with the additions of RJ and Quickly, their pace is above 100, closer to 101. So they're playing faster, and they're playing good basketball. If you look at a lot of their games, it was minus the last one. But I believe they played like 4 straight games where they had 30-plus assists. So, like I said earlier, that's a sign of a team playing really good basketball. And both teams in this matchup are pushing pace. Both top 10 last 5 games as far as pace and offensive rating. You have a Raptors team who's second worst defensive rated team in that same 5-game span. I think this one is primed to go up and over. Raptors have gone over 5 in a row. They'll make it 6 here tonight.
If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it there. Keep it rolling, Skee. No better way to look at it. Up and over there. Toronto taking on Boston. RC, Mr. Kabang. So we got 6 games remain here, still going off the board. Which one stuck out to you a little bit more than the rest?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Cavs and Bulls game. I know Skee mentioned possibly looking towards the Bulls. I'm actually on the other side here. I know the Cavs are traveling from Paris, but they still do have a little bit of rest advantage. And one thing that I've taken from those post game pressers and how the coaches speak to the reporters, one thing that I took was usually when there's long travel, it's the second game back where they tend to feel the jet lag, right? So this is their first game back from Paris, so hopefully that's the case here in this one. But they've been on a pretty good streak here. They won the last 7 instances as home favorites and covered in 6 of those games. Overall, the Cavs have just picked up a lot of momentum recently. They've won 9 of the last 12 overall. even with all the injuries that they've been dealing with. And then they covered 8 of those games as well. So it's really been their defense that has been putting them in this position to cover these games. If you look at the Bulls side, I know they've been putting together a nice string of wins as well for the last 5 as well. But they tend to struggle in this spot specifically as a road dog, especially when the books expect a lower total. This season, the Bulls are 1-9 straight up, 2-8 against the spread as home dogs when the total is less than 225. In those games, the average full game margin is actually minus 11 and 11.7. So they've been losing by a pretty wide margin in these games. From a fatigue standpoint, this is the second game in 3 days. Their schedule also, they've been going around the country. They were last Wednesday, right? They were at home. Then they traveled to face Golden State on Friday. Then Saturday, San Antonio. Now they're back on the east side, where in Cleveland. So to me, I think the fatigue is going to start to set in for them here, especially with the fact that they had 2 overtime games within the last week as well. To me, I think the Cavs defense, I think their second chance points opportunities and also home court advantage is going to give them the edge in this one. Probably look towards fading them the next game back. But this one at minus 3.5, minus 4, I think the Cavs can get it done here.
All right, looking forward to Cats to get it done here tonight. All right, so that leaves us, of course, Andy Lang, who no doubt has a game circled because I bet you he likes a prop or two in it. So which one is it, Andy? Which game you focusing on here tonight?
Well, Joe, anytime you get a chance to bet on a starting lineup that features Jacob Gilyard, Luke Kennard, Vince Williams Jr., Xavier Tillman, and a questionable Jaren Jackson, you have to bet on him. Give me those Memphis Grizzlies over their team total, 108.5. I don't know very much about these guys, some of these guys, but here's what I do know. I do know the Warriors are terrible on the road. They have allowed the last 10 teams on the road to score over this total, and they're not just like barely going over. I mean, Milwaukee 129, Chicago 131, Denver 120, Portland 114, Clippers 121, Suns 119, even the Thunder 120. Kings and Suns got over 123. So they're just not barely letting teams get over. They're just allowing a lot of points. And this is a Grizzlies team where, listen, it's obviously it's gone very, very bad for the Grizzlies this year. But they did score 119 against the Clippers 2 games ago. Now, they were terrible against the Knicks. They only scored 94 points. But, Joe, in the last 10 games, the Knicks are number 3 in defensive rating. Over those same 10 games, the Golden State Warriors are dead last. Dead last. Oof. And this is 3 road games in 4 days for Golden State. Don't be surprised if the Grizzlies, listen, they may not win this game. They may get blown out, but garbage time still counts. I actually think this might be a pretty spirited effort from the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm fading Golden State's defense on the road. Give me the Grizzlies over 108.5.
Oh, I like that. That's good. I mean, I knew they were bad, but I didn't realize they were that friggin' bad. Damn, that is some ugliness to say the least there. But there you got it. Again, 6 games still to tip off here. Next one coming up at 6 o'clock here tonight. Best bets for all 3 of these guys, though, are available at their page right now at WagerTalk.com. Would encourage you guys to go over there and visit them. Partner up here. Big week coming up. We still got some football, obviously, plenty of college hoops, as well as NBA action that you guys are going to want to be a part of. So visit Ronald Kabang, visit Andy Lang, and, of course, Ski Profit. Visit them today over at WagerTalk.com. Make plans to come back and join us again this week, as we've got so much more going on in the association, and we have got you covered with all the games here for the rest of the week. In fact, if you click on that video on your screen right now, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Get access to all the big matchups coming up here tonight and this week. Check out all the best bets we've got as well, and make plans to see us again tomorrow. Best of luck with your plays.